Hey guys, and welcome back to Divine Journey 2. Yesterday we finished off the major exploration tabs of the quest book here. This now allows us to make GP powder. And GP powder is used in all of these Extra Utilities 2 machines. So we have 5 fire mills here giving us grid power. And today we're going to continue progression down the Extra Utilities 2 page. But I've also been doing a lot of preparation for this episode. And also a bit of cleanup as well. So all the mechanism machines that used to sit here have now been moved in this new room. And again, I didn't show that because it's all stuff we've set up before. So I'll quickly run through what's here. This is our steel production area. We have a crusher, we have an osmium compressor for refined glowstone. On the opposite side of the room we have metallurgic infusers for diamond. This is for refined obsidian. This one's for reinforced alloy. The next two machines here are for compressed obsidian, which makes our atomic alloy. And the last one is an osmium compressor to make refined obsidian ingots. None of these machines are fully automated yet, but I decided just to make a machine per recipe, since once we get applied energistics, we can just hook up interfaces, and we won't have to rebuild this setup. It'll just be a matter of plugging in the interface and hooking up the item inputs. And all the outputs go into their own drawer, which eventually they'll get a storage bus, so that we can access it on our ME system over there. And on this side of the room we have the enriched alloy as well as the basic control circuits. Those come from redstone or compressed redstone in the metallurgic infuser. And this one takes iron input, this one takes osmium input. And then behind us we have our ore processing system. I've just been throwing some ores in here. We have some stacks of iron and gold. So yeah, I quite like the way it turned out, but I am aware that things are getting a bit boxy again. I need to be aware that I'm not just building rectangles and squares everywhere. And we also have the downstairs area, which doesn't lead anywhere right now, but I did clean up and clear out the underside of our main intersection here. I have a plan for this area, but we're going to come back to that later on. So the next steps for us is to look into this lunar reactive dust. So this dust at this stage of the game is actually quite expensive for us, as it takes Osglow Lapis in the resonator. And Osglow Lapis is Osglow Glass and Lapis. Lapis really isn't an issue right now, but Osglow Glass is still quite expensive for us. It takes glowstone ingots, which is osmium plus glowstone. It takes osmium, so that it's a lot of osmium for this, and refined obsidian, which is almost just obsidian, but it does take also a diamond in the metallurgic infuser. And we're down to our last half stack of diamonds. But I have been crafting a lot of these components. We have 2 stacks of refined obsidian here, some amount of osmium, and there's some more in these machines already. I've been batch crafting a lot more. We have some obsidian in here, some glowstone in here. Yeah, we have over a stack of glowstone ingots. But yeah, I did go mining specifically for osmium, but apparently it's not enough. So I'd like to try and get 2 stacks of this Osglow glass. I'm trying to just scrounge together enough osmium for this. So we have some of this as dust I'm going to just use. But I don't know if there's a better way for us at this stage to get osmium. I don't know if the excavator actually from Immersive Engineering can pull up osmium. But for now we've got enough materials for 2 stacks of Osglow glass. And I would love to be able to fully automate this stuff, but I think it's going to have to wait until we have access to some better machines. And then I think we'll do a stack of this. We'll keep a stack just as Osglow glass, and we'll do the rest as Osglow lapis. Is this 1-to-1? It is 1-to-1, okay. And now we can put this in our resonator. And in fact, is there any way we want to keep this stuff? Oh, it's used in the applied energistics fluid cells. I think for now we'll just convert it all, since we won't be using this stuff for a little while. Oh nice, it also gives us some more free Osglow glass. And this opens up our next quest, which is Demon Lord ingots and Demon ingots. So yeah, to make demon ingots, we have to throw gold into lava, and there's a chance that it can become demon ingots. But as you saw there, it can eat your gold up, so yeah. So yeah, that's a decent amount of demon ingots. And again, this is something we will be automating later on, but we don't have a way of collecting items as far as I'm aware. Although I think I've seen that around here somewhere. Yeah, we get access to the vacuum hopper pretty soon here. But now we can combine some of our lunar reactive with the demon ingots to give us the Demon Lord ingots. This is a cool looking ingot, I think. I think it's custom to this pack as well. But yeah, with this we can create 2 more ingots, so more nested crafting. The first one is MobGrindingUtils, which we mix with gunpowder. And the second one I think is the open ingot, which we mix with paper. So this opens up some very, very cool utility items for us. And the next thing I'd like to do is actually build a mob farm. This is going to give us access to a lot of the basic resources that we need. And to do that, we're going to use the Drop of Evil, which increases mob spawns when you place it on grass. And in this pack, the Drop of Evil is only craftable. It does not drop from wither skeletons. So we need some necrotic bones, we need some of this MobGrindium, and we need a wither skeleton skull. Alright, so after a nether trip to gather some more necrotic bones and wither ash, we can make our Drop of Evil. So we'll also want a way to move mobs around, as well as automatically collect their drops and also kill the mobs. But first of all, let's actually decide on a place that we want to put this. And we're going to put it down here at bedrock. And the reason for that is I would like to get the DivineRPG mobs to spawn. Alright, so I've dug out a little space. Obviously it still is a bit of a mess, it needs cleaned up. But this is going to be a 9 by 9 area. And then I think we'll have the mob masher on this side with a bunch of storage drawers to store the outputs. And then maybe on this side we'll have a little window. Alright, so we have a bit of a room cleared out here, and now we're ready to start spawning mobs. Well, kind of. We need some way of killing the mobs, as well as moving them around. So, to kill the mobs, we're going to make a mob masher, which requires a sun crystal. And the sun crystal is made with enchanted ingots, which we're making in this enchanter. This is just a temporary setup since it needs power, and we don't really have an easier way of transporting power right now. But this also needs a full set of bookshelves, and we're mixing gold and lapis together to give us enchanted ingots. And then the enchanted ingots, we made the sun crystal, and this is the material required to make the mob masher, which is what we're going to be automatically killing the mobs with. However, I did take a look at this recipe, and it's very expensive. In terms of the diamond cost, I don't know if we're going to be able to afford this. We have 43 diamonds here, and it also takes 9 ingots of this MobGrindium, of which we have 13, and I think we can make more of this stuff. But the other thing we'll need is a mob fan, and I have already crafted this thing. It's actually quite cheap, to be honest. It just takes one of these fans, which is some open ingots, and then we can upgrade it to the MobGrindingUtils version with some MobGrindium and some red alloy. But this does take some upgrades. So the default range for this thing, I think, is 1 by 5. So we're actually going to need... Oh, we can only have 3 of these width modifiers, and our farm is 9 by 9, so we may have to build some more of these mob fans. And the range add-ons aren't cheap either. This is 4 MobGrindium each, plus some red alloy, which takes 8 redstone a piece, so... I don't know, maybe we'll have to change the size a bit on our mob farm just to make it a bit smaller, as this is the only thing we can afford right now. But first, let's see if we have enough diamonds for the mob masher. I think we're just barely going to have enough. I accidentally made an extra diamond gear, but we need some diamond swords. I think we need 3 of these things. But then to make the spikes, we need the gold ones, and then the iron ones. Oh, and the stone ones, and the wood. Oh no. Oh, and this takes magical wood as well. Okay, so we have to use our enchanter again to make magical wood, which is bookshelves and lapis. And I only have enough bookshelves for 9 of these things. Hopefully that's going to be enough for us. Oh man, is this slow. Well, in the meantime, let's make some more MobGrindium. I don't know if we'll have actually enough gunpowder for this either. I guess we'll soon find out. Well, there's 25 to begin with, and we already had some left over, I think. But our magical wood is finished, so we can hopefully craft our spikes now. So we need the wooden ones, and then we upgrade this to the cobble. Then iron, then gold I think it is. Yeah, we need a few gold swords. And then gold becomes the diamond ones. And now we're just missing 2 blocks of MobGrindium. And we can make our mob masher. Nice. This is how ketchup's made. Oh cool, it gives us some diamonds back, that's good. So this also has a range of upgrades that we can put on it as well. We can give it things like sharpness or fire aspect to cook mobs drops, or we can give it looting, I think this is what it is. How expensive are these things? Yeah, we may have to hold off on this just now. So yeah, for now, since we can only afford the 2 upgrades, I did craft 2 of these things. We are just going to make our mob farm a little bit smaller to begin with, and I've just blocked out the rest of the extra space here. So once we put the range add-ons in, we can have 3 by 5 this is. And then we'll have to give this mob masher some power, I think, to run. And so now we also need a way to pick up the drops as well. So I don't really know where the best place to put this absorption hopper is. I'm not sure if it'll pull through blocks. So if, like, for example, if we were to put it here, I think the drops are going to get trapped on this side of the mob masher. So I noticed there was this cracked floor, which allows drops and EXP to slip through. Oh, this is actually ender infused sticks, which takes ender alloy, which is Enderium Osmiridium. So actually, I was doing some testing with the items, and it seems like we can actually get away with this sort of setup. But it seems that the items will be picked up behind this mob masher. So we're going to try out this configuration to start off with. So I believe the mob fan also needs some redstone power to function. So now all the mobs should get pushed into this mob masher. Let's just try this out. So we need to put our drop of evil on grass blocks. And I would actually like to pick this up with silk touch if we can, to avoid having to craft another drop of evil once we expand out this farm. So it's a little bit hard to see right now, but I think we have to have this as a dark room for the cursed earth to spawn. Or to spread, I mean. When we place this down, yeah, we do get cursed earth. Let's try and pick up one of these blocks. And then seal this up, and hopefully we get... Oh yeah. Let's just turn things down a little bit. Yeah, we can already hear the mobs in there. Okay, so we're already seeing our first problem here, which is they're actually dodging this mob grinder. And that is a bit of an issue. So to fix that, we're going to make these entity conveyors, which will push mobs, and we'll stick one of these on each side of the mob masher. And so now the next problem is filtering all of these drops. As well as the EXP actually, we are getting EXP from this absorption hopper. So it's probably a good idea to build a tank of some sort to put on this. And conveniently, there is actually one as part of the quests for these stone drums, or iron drums, which take the stone drums. Which takes some more of this moonstone and some stone burnt. And I think these can actually hold up to 200 buckets or something. Yeah, 256 buckets. Oh no, I also just realised that we have a quest here for all of the spikes. And we didn't pick up the quest yet for the magical wood, so at some point we're going to have to craft another set of spikes for these quests. But there is 2 stone drums. I'm going to make some extra. And we'll make these into the iron variant as well. And we could even upgrade them to the reinforced drum, which is 4,000 buckets. But yeah, this is quite expensive, taking a lot of Demon Lord ingots. So I think we'll hold off on the upgrade for now. But this drum I think we're just going to put directly below the absorption hopper. And we'll set this to down on fluid mode. And this is going to empty out all of its fluids into this drum. So yeah, we're already up to 6,500 EXP. That's not bad. Oh, it looks like we're actually getting golden pickaxes from these mobs. I guess it's from these cave clopses, which we can actually later melt down into gold, which is a really nice byproduct to have from this. And we're also getting, yeah, the corrupted shards, which is why we put it down here at bedrock, to get these DivineRPG mob drops. And we're also getting the ingots from DivineRPG as well. And torches? I guess that's from the eye. What can we do with torches? Anything? I don't think so. We'll probably end up just trashing these. So we're going to come back to the filtering on that mob system in a second, but first of all, let's finish out this quest page for chapter 9. So we have to pick up our magical wood for the next quest. And that leads us into, the spikes for later on. And also this thermal conductor rod, which then we can make RF powder with. And this gives us access to thermal dynamics and thermal expansion machinery. So to make this, we need some sun crystals, some magical wood, and some moonstone. I think we'll have to make up some more sun crystals though. And the sun crystals we have to let charge in the sun. And again, this is something we will be automating later on. But now we can craft our thermal conductor rod. So yeah, to craft the RF powder, we need some bottles of enchanting, which we can get actually from our mob farm down there. And to fill up the bottles, we can use one of these XP bottlers, which is some open ingots and an extra sun crystal. So this XP bottler is actually really cool. We can directly pull from the tank next to it using the auto drink feature on this. If we just set the, this side, it will automatically pull in the liquid XP. Then we can just put in our glass bottles and we get some bottles of enchanting. Doesn't even take power either. That's awesome. And yeah, I keep opening this chest. We're going to have to do something about this very, very soon. Alright, so I also crushed up some copper and tin. We can make our bronze blend. And I think we also need some more GP powder as well for this. Yeah, let's just make up a bunch more. And that's about all the diamonds we have for this. So there's 19. And then with this, we can craft our first RF powder. Nice, we got a trophy as well. And we can claim 4 more for free. Nice, so now we can craft all of the thermal expansion machines. So to do that, we need machine frames, which take some tin, some seared brick. Oh, seared brick. Alright, well I guess that means we're going to have to automate sand and gravel, as well as clay actually. I don't know how we're going to go about doing that. There's lots of different ways to automate clay though. And honestly, I don't even really know where to start with this page. So actually, before we move on, let's go and fix our mob farm. I wanted to get that quest out of the way, to be honest. Alright, so I crafted up some drawers and placed them on the opposite side of our mob farm here. I have the drawer controller right below this iron chest. And then we're running some frame trim from the drawer controller all the way to these drawers here. But to get the items from the chest into this drawer controller, I noticed in the quest there was this flat transfer node, which apparently lets you put it in between blocks. So I want to try this thing out. I've never actually used this before. And I'm hoping that it works like the Greg Tech cover. That didn't seem to have worked. Oh, and now I can't get it off the chest. I'm going to have to, I think, break the chest to get the transfer node off. And that's not going to end very well. So let's just start manually filling in these frame drawers, and then I'll figure out how we transfer the items from the chest later on. Alright, so I think I have all the items filtered out here, with a few extra to spare. So I made some of these thermodynamics filters to filter out the bows. So we have a trash can down there on whitelist for the bow. And these actually take the new RF powder that we just crafted. They do the job for now at least. Although we are still getting these pickaxes, which are not going to go into the drawers. So we'll have to find another solution for this. So this is something I'll probably mess with between episodes just to try and get this a bit more optimized. And most of these drawers will also need some upgrades and some void upgrades on some of them as well. But we don't really have the resources to do that at the moment, so yeah. This system is something we'll come back to and upgrade later on. So for now, again, there is a few more optional things we can get in this quest tab, which is going to be nice to have. But I would like to move on and start building some of our thermal machines. So yeah, to do that we need a handful of machine frames. And yeah, these things are definitely not cheap. It takes the machine blocks, which takes steel casing, and yeah, more osmium it looks like. But all we can do right now is just batch craft, so I'm going to make 3 stacks of steel plates. Actually no, we'll do 1 stack of rods instead. And this resonator is actually quite slow, so let's actually look into some of the upgrades for it. To upgrade it, we need to put in some enriched alloy to make the upgrade bases. And then we combine that with some of the mechanism speed upgrades, which is more osmium, but we already had some of these crafted already. And that gives us our extra utility speed upgrades, which I believe is actually a maximum of 4 upgrades. And it does increase the power penalty on the GP cost. And yeah, it looks like with 4 we can't craft the upgrade bases. Hopefully we can still craft the polished stone down. Maybe not with all 4. Maybe we just have to do 3. Yeah, we're not quite producing enough grid power for that. But with the stone burnt, we can create some more of these machine blocks. And then these we're going to upgrade to the thermal machine frames. Well, we'll need a lot more than 4 going forward. So yeah, where do we want to go now? And I think we're actually going to rush to try to get access to Ender.io. I would really like to get the farmer as well as item conduits. And I'm aware that we're kind of rushing through things here, but it's because of the gated nature of this pack. Once we have access to Ender.io and... oh, there's even the crafting terminal here as well. Once we have access to this stuff, it's going to make automating the basic resources a lot easier than having to deal with like thermal expansion, item ducts and things like that. So let's see what it's going to take for us to get up to item conduits. So to make the item conduits, we can actually already make the pulsating iron. It's just some ender pearls and iron. But the conduit binder is what is getting us here. So we need a composite, which takes some gravel, some sand and clay. But it also takes this energized dark dust. And for this, we need dark dust and refined fuel. To get the dark ingots, we need bitumen and tar. So the tar we have to make a fractionating still for oil. And we'll also get a naphtha byproduct. I don't know how useful this is. I guess we can burn it in the compression dynamo. And for the bitumen, we need... I think this comes from oil sands, actually. Yeah, this comes from oil sands, which is found in the world. And this, ideally, we will make in the induction smelter, which I think we can now craft. Yeah, as long as we have a machine frame for it. And then the other part of dark dust, or dark ingots, is refined fuel. Oh, I guess this is what we do with the naphtha. So we need another fractionating still to convert the naphtha into refined fuel. So actually, we're closer than what I thought. We just need 2 fractionating stills and an induction smelter. Oh, but hold on, how are we going to get oil? I don't think oil spawns in the world in this pack. Or at least I haven't seen any. So I think we'll have to do the pulverizer to get the chance output on oil sands. Or we could do the fluid transposer for smouldering tar. This is the stuff that spawns in the world. And we can just fluid transpose slime balls. Yeah, I think that's probably a better route to go. So we'll do the fluid transposer, an induction smelter, and 2 fractionating stills. And that's perfect since we only have 4 machine frames. Hopefully we don't run into anything else. So we are going to need a handful of these of gears and plates. We need tin plates, copper plates, nickel gears, Constantine gears, and we also need gold gears for the reception coils. We do have access to the compactor now, so it's probably well worth getting into these since these machines can be upgraded and we can get away from using the immersive metal press. But we'll just do one thing at a time. Let's just use the metal press since this is what we have for now. Alright, this should be enough for us to start at least. Alright, so we'll make our reception coils, and then what was it? 2 fractionating stills, 1 induction smelter, oh we're missing invar gears, and 1 fluid transposer. Alright, and that was 3 quests actually. Did we get anything nice for this? A morphin tool. I think that's a multi-wrench if I'm not mistaken. But we got the invar gears, we can also make our induction smelter. So now we can go up and craft the Dark Ingots, which does mean that we will need to find some smoldering tar. And last night I did actually cover over the one that was right underneath our ME controller, which is probably a bad move to be honest, but I think I remember seeing one over to the south over here. And I guess we'll also need some slime blocks, so we'll come to this slime island and just raid this. I'm not actually sure how many we have, but we'll take more just to be sure. Aha, we found some tar here, so I'm going to use the extra stone or iron drum that I crafted. And I'm just going to fill this as much as I possibly can. Ow. I knew that was going to happen at some point. So that pool of tar gave us a total of 96 buckets to work with here. And it only actually takes 200 millibuckets and 1 slime ball per piece of tar. So this is going to give us a lot to work with here. So for now I'm going to stick these thermal machines on next to where our power is. Probably between episodes I'll set up a separate room for these machines. So we need the fractionating still. We can put the iron drum on top to input the fluids. Alright, I forgot this iron drum does not eject fluids. And this is all the more reason we need conduits. But we've got the fluid duct. We'll put on just a basic servo. It doesn't need to be fast. Oh, this has to be the fluid transposer. Alright. Alright, yeah, now we're getting our smoldering tar. And we put in our slime balls. Man, is this slow. Yeah, these definitely need some upgrades. Alright, so now we need some bitumen. And I think we do actually have some of this stuff. Probably nowhere near enough though. Let's see how much we have. We have 10. Okay, and how much oil sands do we have? 0. Nice. Yeah, I forgot those things blow up. Alright, we'll need another fluid tank then. But we can combine our bitumen and tar. Ignore the fact that we have explosions in the base. And this gives us our dark ingots. And in fact, it was probably a bit of a waste making these 2 fractionating stills since we don't have any way of getting oil sands. But we need 4 of these ingots for the quest. And, oh, it also gives us some... Oh, this is just smoldering tar, okay. Well, we can put this on here and set the auto output on this tank instead. Alright, so with this, we now have to energize it. And to do that, we need the refined fuel, which we're going to get from the naphtha, which is from oil. And I guess this is where we need the oil sands. Oh wait, we can do a liquefacted coal actually. Hold on. Maybe this is a bit easier actually. If we pulverize coal and then we magma crucible this into liquefacted coal. And then we can fractionate and still this. And then this will give us the naphtha and then we put that through another fractionating still for refined fuel. I think we may just be able to have enough materials for this. Yeah, we can craft another machine frame and then all we need for the magma crucible is some nether brick and copper gears. And we have our magma crucible. Nice. Another thing is actually, how much coal do we have? 228. Can we use charcoal for this or does it have to be specifically coal for this? I think it has to be specifically coal. But once we melt some of our coal, we get the tar and naphtha, which we have to put into, I guess, another fractionating still, so I'll have to make some more space here. Again, this will probably end up getting rebuilt between episodes, but this is just enough to get us started. Then once we configure the inputs on the left-hand side on this fractionating still, we have the refined fuel. Nice. Alright, so I think with this, actually, we're going to need another fluid transposer. Yeah, we will have to make another fluid transposer to energize the dark dust. And this takes us down to our last 2 GP powder. And we're like pretty much out of diamonds, so this kinda lucky. I hope we don't need any more machines today. And I guess if we're using the coal like this, which gives us the tar byproduct, there wasn't really much point in doing the smoldering tar route. Is this 100% chance output? Oh no, it's 50%, okay. And we also get a little bit of sulfur with this as well, which we can use for pyrotheum later on. Nice, so now we can create our conduits. Finally. Oh, and we only get 4 binder conduit per energized dark dust as well. Man, these are expensive. But this also opens up fluid conduits as well as the energy conduits, so I want to switch out to using these things. But now that we have the mob farm, we're also producing ender pearls that we need for the pulsating iron, even if it is quite slow at the moment. But now we can make our conduit binder and craft the first item conduits. Nice, so this is going to make automation a lot easier going forward. This also, I noticed, opens up the Ender IO machines. So to make these we need Grains of Infinity. I assume this is just default in this pack. It is. To make the simple machine chassis as well, it does take this energized Dark Ingot. So that's a pretty simple upgrade. And then we have to make some Dark Steel and Industrial Dye Blend. And then with the industrial machines, we can create all of the Ender IO machines, which are blazing fast. And this, with a little bit more crafting, will give us access to the farming station, which is something I've really wanted to get access to. This is going to allow us to overhaul this little system over here, feeding our biodiesel setup, and we can switch out to using the farming station instead of minecarts for it. So I think that's something we'll look into next episode. But now that we have the item conduits, I think between episodes I'm going to fix up all this filtering, and I'll probably add... oh, hello. I'll probably add the extra capacity on this farm as well, and expand it to the full 9x9. Yeah, I guess I've got some extra armor filtering and things to do as well, which will be easier with conduits now. But I think this is a good point to wrap up the episode. We'll come back tomorrow and continue our progression. So, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more Divine Journey 2.